I've traveled 5 states to get my vinyl. If it's that good, I'm going to go down to Tennessee. I'm going to go to Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois. I'm going to go and get it. So that's a big part of the fun is finding the stuff for the store, and then just interacting with people, having it something to get up in the morning and do. You know, what else do you do in the winter? You know, I guess you could sit around and read all day. But yeah, that's not me. I'm Rex Frederick, and I own Turn the Page Books. Turn the Page is a store that started mainly with taking in used books with the idea of adding music, a few other odds and ends in here to sell to people, but that's our bread and butter. My vision was to have a retirement business, something to get up and do, something to feel productive about versus just sitting at home growing old. You know, I know it seems odd, I'm 56, but I thought, well, I ain't getting any younger. Let's do something a little more, you know, low-key, something that's not so fast-paced like my old business. And in that business, we shot thousands of high school sports, little leagues, senior photos. It was just very fast-paced. I loved photography since I can remember. That was always my goal, my dream, and then I did it for like 30 years. Digital photography came along, and then there were tons of photographers, and the thrill of photography, it just dropped over time. When kids used to come into our store, they were really pumped, and now there's so many ways to get images that it's not as big a thrill as it was 25 years ago. So it wasn't as fun to go to work because people weren't as excited, and it just drained the excitement, and I just like, okay, let's move on to something else. Just thought it was time for a change. I can say since we've opened, it was really kind of cool, people walking in for the first time. Literally some of the responses we got from people, they just would go, oh, heaven, or they would just be like, oh, a bookstore. Our clientele's so broad because we'll have those dudes coming in with the long hair, buying the music. Then we have the cute little kids coming in because I always give them a dumb, you know, little sucker, and they're loving the choice of the children's books. And then you have the moms or grandmas that you know, read a lot through their retirement. There's not one. We just get a lot of different age ranges. You know, I mean, it's a lot of downtowns are trying to revive, and so I know that just having a business like this helps draw people in, and while they're here, they might go elsewhere, and just help everyone as a whole. And the same with music. We know that people appreciate having that type of store, specialty kind of store in this size of town. And you know, with today's world of the internet's so convenient, it's a challenge, but you know, I've always been built for, you know, the challenge. You know, I enjoy the challenge. When we first opened, Turn the Page is obviously a Bob Seger song, big Bob Seger fan. Turn the Page just worked well with the books, and it was that little piece of, hey, it's kind of a music reference as well, so we knew it was a pretty good name. People would, especially my age, would get it. I grew up in the 60s as a little kid, so of course everyone relates back to the Beatles, but I just listened to the radio my whole life, so all those top 40 songs in the 60s and 70s. Then when I became a teenager, then I started to branch out and pick my own groups. I mean, part of my first big bands was Kiss. There's just so many groups from back in the day that you just go, it takes you back in time. I still listen to a lot of that music today. I listen to the Foreigners, the Bostons, the AC/DCs, the Van Halens. I pretty much just like that kind of music, but I also like, you know, top 40 stuff more like Billy Joel, Elton John. That's the part that excites me, gets me up in the morning, is the music part. I've come across albums, little 45s that we played as kids that we owned, and I mean, it's nostalgic. And I've kept some of them as they come through. I remembered having this 45 as a kid, and I won't sell that one, I'll just keep it. Gosh, I mean, so many of them take you back to that certain time that's what makes them special. So there's a lot of reasons why I like the physical part of owning versus just having the digital file, but I see both sides. Yeah, well, first of all, I'm a big music person. About 10 years ago, my daughter and I were listening to Brad Paisley's Letter to Me. You know, it's about a kid thinking of, wish he could write a letter to tell him not to worry about that speeding ticket, not worry about that bad grade in school, don't worry about, you know, all these things in life. And it just made me think, hey, she was 11 years old. I said, let's write a letter, seal it up, and open it on your wedding day. She's okay, Dad. And I had that thing hung up on my bathroom cabinet door where I'd see it every day. She wanted to open it before the wedding because she said, Dad, I don't know if I can read my writing. I go, no, you're just afraid of what you wrote. We had the DJ put on the song, and it ended up being a really neat piece of 11-year-old's mind who said she wasn't into boys. That's what the letter says. I'm not really into boys, but if I'm reading this letter, then obviously I've changed my mind. And it was so cool. That moment, everybody in that place was glued to this unique moment that her and I created 10 years ago. So there's a lot of things to love about music. It brings back good memories. It just puts you in a good mood. When it comes to books, and I do get that feeling of having that book that you can't put down, that you don't want to go to sleep, that you got to get through the next chapter. I've been there, but throughout the day, music wins overall. And if it tells anything about me, it's like, yeah, he does love music because now he's, you know, selling it and playing it all day long and enjoying it.